Millie! Hey! Thanks for the other day. I really appreciate you coming to the wedding. Why are you laughing as you say that? Because I couldn't stop laughing at how socially awkward you still are. I made a conscious effort to be respectful, both in how I dressed and how I carried myself. After all, I am the bride's sister. Sure, I'll give you that. You did your best to blend into the shadows like usual. I mean, it's not like you could draw attention if you tried. You've always been invisible. So I guess you were just being your usual awkward self. Was there an actual reason you contacted me? Storm, I think you're forgetting something. We're practically estranged, you know. I only went to the ceremony out of obligation, for Dad's sake. So as far as I'm concerned, I'd rather you not contact me at all. Oh, really? You sure you want to say that? What now? I overheard Mom and Dad talking at the reception, you know. You're living in some bottom-of-the-barrel poverty situation, right? They said you're making, $10,000 a year? That's like $800 a month. How are you even surviving on that living alone? You must be in some real dump of an apartment. Wait, $10,000 a year? Where did that number even come from? Like I said, I overheard them talking. I seriously don't recall them saying that. 10 grand a year is practically NEET level, sis. Meanwhile, look at me. I've married a rich guy who works at a major company, and I'm living the dream as a full-time housewife. I don't have to work and still get to enjoy the luxurious life. Actually, you know what? Want me to give you some money? What? My husband's loaded. Covering the cost of a few basics so you can live like a human being isn't going to break our bank. I don't want your money. Don't be so proud. You can't possibly live on $800 a month. You're probably up to your eyeballs in debt just to keep the lights on. Sad little debt-ridden pauper. I'm giving you a lifeline here. Take it. No thanks. Doing anything you say is guaranteed to make my life worse. Oh, that's how you want to play it? Also, for your information, I'm not in debt, so you can relax. Are you sure about that? Think what you like. We're not in touch anyway, so I honestly don't care what you assume. You've always been so stubborn and hard to like. Then it's good I'm not trying to be likable. But deep down? What now? Be honest. About what? You want the money, right? I already said no. Well then, to my difficult little sister who can't admit when she's in need, I have a fantastic proposal for you. I don't need any proposals. Introduce me to a guy. What? Are you serious? Storm, you just got married. I know you've always had a thing for fooling around, but that's over now. You're married. Yeah, but my husband's such a boring, straight-laced guy, and he's so bland in bed. I'm bored to death. No excitement. I'm dying here. Didn't you get married knowing full well what kind of person he is? I was fooled by the looks and the paycheck, okay? So come on, hook me up with someone. Even if I wanted to, Just one guy, that's all I'm asking. You're being absolutely ridiculous. Come on, and make sure he's hot. I'm not doing this. Why not? Because I'm not about to help you cheat on your husband. It's just for fun. It's not my fault he can't satisfy me. He's the problem. Listen, that kind of stuff might sound casual to you, but the consequences, they're not. Whether you're single or married makes a huge difference when it comes to affairs. Get your act together. You sound so self-righteous. Living on your own for 10 years turned you into some arrogant little know-it-all, huh? You were always a brat, but now it's worse. Say whatever you want. This conversation is over. Millie! Come on, answer me already. Millie, you there? Hello? What? I'm at work now, you know. You're calling that work? Girl, please. You're barely scraping together $800 a month, and you've got the nerve to sound all busy and important. There's no such thing as a bottom-tier job. Work is work. And coming from you, the woman who spent every waking moment chasing guys until she finally landed a husband, you've got zero room to talk. Also, just FYI, I'm earning more than $800 now. Oh, really? So what, did my jab about you being poor sting enough to make you hustle for once? What now? You made $900 this month instead? Wow, how impressive. You're rolling in it, huh? You're seriously just sitting around talking to yourself, huh? Making jokes, laughing at them, then replying like anyone's entertained? You must be so bored. Anyway, I'm done with this. Okay, fine. But what if I said, I took your man. What are you talking about? My man? Yeah. Some guy walked out of that shabby little apartment building you live in, and I just knew he had to be yours. So I went and got a little friendly with him. I hope you don't mind. I'm sorry, what? First of all, my apartment isn't nearly as terrible as you make it sound. And second, it's got pretty tight security. Are you sure you're not confusing me with someone else? Tisk tisk, no need to pretend, sis. He told me himself you two were involved. And I gotta say, he was pretty great. Good looking, fun, knew how to handle things in bed. Exactly the kind of thrill I've been craving. Way more exciting than my straight-laced husband, that's for sure. Wait, are you telling me you actually slept with someone you think I'm dating? Relax, what's the big deal? You're my sister. So we shared a guy for a bit. No harm done, right? That is completely insane. I have no idea what guy you're even talking about. Oh, come on, don't play dumb. He said you were struggling financially too, so I figured why not help out? I handed him $30,000. You what? Mm-hmm. And since you were kind enough to introduce me to such a lovely guy, I figured I'd return the favor. Check your mailbox. There's $20,000 in there just for you, my way of saying thanks for the referral. You've got to be kidding me. You put $20,000 in my mailbox? Yep, so generous, right? Anyway, just wanted to let you know I'll be keeping your man now. He and I really hit it off. You are unbelievable. Oh, and just so we're clear, if you go crying to my husband about any of this, I will be asking for that money back. So think carefully before you do anything stupid. Bye! Millie, what the hell do you think you're doing? Answer your damn phone. What? What? That's all you have to say? Don't give me that tone. I gave you the money, didn't I? The damn thank you money? Why the hell would you go rat me out to my husband? Oh, so he found out about your little affair, huh? No crap he did, and now I want my $20,000 back. You told him, Millie, that was the deal. No snitching. Yeah, but see, I didn't tell him anything. What the hell are you talking about? He came to me and asked for advice, that's it. Wait, he came to you? My husband went to you? Yeah, he said he wanted to talk about your cheating. What the actual hell? Why would he confide in you? You're just some broken bottom-of-the-barrel wannabe. Right, except I'm a licensed attorney with an annual income of $100,000. I'm sorry, what? You heard me. You're a lawyer? Mm-hmm, and your husband knows that, which is probably why he felt safe confiding in me. He told me he wants to move forward with a divorce. No, this can't be real. I didn't take his case, obviously, conflict of interest, but I did refer him to someone more suitable. Looks like everything's finally in motion. Hold on! What the hell were Mom and Dad talking about when they said you were only making $10,000 a year? I asked them about that too. They think they must have misheard me when I said my husband's monthly income was $10,000. They probably assume I meant yearly. Wait, so your husband makes $10,000 a month? Yeah, so his annual salary is about $120,000. He owns his own business. He what? Your husband? My husband, yes. Are you telling me you're married? Have been for 3 years now. We met through a colleague of mine. He's the legal advisor for my husband's company. We got married not long after. We even have a kid. 3 years? Yeah. I just never told you because, well, dealing with your jealousy and drama isn't exactly how I'd like to spend my time. Wait. So that guy, the one I saw leaving the apartment, that wasn't your man? Storm, how exactly did you get that apartment address again? You sent us a New Year's card once. It had your address on it. That's how I found the place. And then I saw some guy walk out of there and I thought, oh, I see. That was probably the address from before we got married. My husband and I used to live there before we moved into our house. I must have sent that card during our engagement, right before we relocated. Hold up, are you telling me that guy, the one I slept with, he wasn't even your man? He was probably the new tenant, the one who moved in after we left. No, wait a second. So then the $20,000 I stuffed into the mailbox... No idea who got that money. Wasn't me. You're lying. You had to have taken it. I was planning to use it as leverage to cover my damages if I ended up divorced. Right. Well, according to your husband, that was his money to begin with. So even if you had gotten it back, it wouldn't count toward any damages. It'd just be returning what you stole. Oh, God, no. No. What do I do? $50,000 is gone. I don't have that kind of money. And that's not even the worst of it. What now? The $50,000 is just what you have to repay. It's not counting the compensation your husband could be suing for. That's additional. You're saying $50,000 isn't even enough? Exactly. He could demand more, depending on the emotional distress, the damage to his reputation, breach of trust, all that. I'm screwed. Also, just so you know, Mom and Dad aren't going to help you. What? They told me flat out. They're not lifting a finger for you. They said if you blew through $50,000 and wrecked your own marriage, then you can dig yourself out on your own. No, this can't be happening. Millie, please help me. Be my lawyer, I'm begging you. What? You're a lawyer, right? Just work my case for free, okay? If you can just get the refund dismissed or have the damages reduced, I'll owe you forever. No. What do you mean, no? You're my sister. You can't just abandon me like this. Being your sister doesn't mean I'm obligated to clean up your messes. And besides, what you're asking is impossible. Even lawyers have limits. We can't magically erase wrongdoing just because you regret it now. You are heartless. No, I'm just done letting you drag me into your schemes. I told you, don't involve me. You didn't listen. Millie, please just wait. Don't leave me. Wait, please, don't leave me like this. First, about the $20,000 that I had tossed into the apartment mailbox, it ended up in the hands of my sister's affair partner, the very person who had been living in that apartment. He found the money and, of course, squandered it. I couldn't believe it when I heard. It was as if the money had vanished into thin air, only to be wasted on things that were irrelevant. This affair partner of hers that had been told by my sister that she was a wealthy, single woman, it's hard to even imagine the level of deception involved in that. The lie she had been living was so far removed from the truth that it was almost comical, except for the fact that it was rooted in a situation so destructive. What made this whole mess even more complicated was that this man had no real interest in my sister's character or her feelings. He was only interested in what he thought was a golden opportunity. He had been misled, and now he was involved in the chaos she had created. After everything that happened, he came forward and apologized, though it didn't change anything in the end. I suppose in a way it was too little too late. Still, after some back and forth, they reached an agreement on the standard amount for the alimony, just enough to cover the situation, with no grand gestures or any attempt to make things right beyond what was expected. Meanwhile, my sister was left to face the consequences of her actions, something she was ill-prepared for. The reality of it all hit her much harder than I think she had anticipated. It wasn't just about the $20,000, but the entire mess that surrounded her. As if that wasn't enough, it turned out that there had been another affair during her engagement. I couldn't believe it. She was engaged to someone else while all of this was going on. How was that even possible? Apparently, the affair partner during her engagement was a separate issue, something that had somehow remained hidden until now. And so, in addition to the situation she had already created, my sister was now being asked to pay alimony for that as well. It seemed as though her life was nothing but a series of missteps, each one compounding the last, creating an overwhelming mess that she had no idea how to untangle. It wasn't just the affairs, though. That part, while shocking, was almost expected. The way my sister had been living, the way she thought she could get away with anything, her life had been one big string of mistakes, and I couldn't help but think that some part of her believed she could avoid any real consequences. She had a way of interpreting everything around her in the most convenient way possible. It was almost as if she believed that if she twisted things enough, the truth would bend to her will. But that kind of thinking doesn't work forever. Sooner or later, the truth catches up with you, and that's exactly what happened here. The carefree attitude she had carried through life, always choosing what was easiest rather than what was right, had led her down a path she couldn't undo. I had always been frustrated by my sister's behavior. She had such a reckless personality, one that never considered the long-term consequences. There were so many things I wanted to say, so many things I wanted to point out to her, but I knew better than to waste my breath. She wasn't the type to listen. She had a way of brushing off anything that didn't align with her view of the world, interpreting everything in a way that made it all seem like someone else's fault. And now she was finally paying for that mentality. in ways that would haunt her for a long time. The idea that she could just ignore the damage she caused and carry on as if nothing had happened had been her biggest mistake. It had always seemed so easy for her to get away with things, to assume that everything would just work out, but she was wrong. Life doesn't just forgive you for being reckless. You can't keep running away from the consequences no matter how hard you try. Now, my sister was in a far more difficult place than I ever expected. She was working tirelessly at some seedy bar in a run-down part of town, spending her days and nights trying to pay off the debts she had accumulated. She had no time for herself, no space to think, no ability to see any way out. Her life had become a constant grind, a daily struggle to stay afloat in a sea of mistakes she couldn't undo. And I wondered, as I thought about it, if she even realized how far she had fallen. Did she understand what it meant to lose everything? To be left with nothing but the consequences of her own actions? It seemed like she had become numb to it, as though she had already accepted that this was her new life, that she had no way of turning things around. It was painful to think about, and yet I couldn't help but feel a certain level of frustration. Part of me wanted to sympathize with her, to feel sorry for her as she worked herself to exhaustion, day after day, trying to repay the debts she had made. But another part of me couldn't find it in me to offer any sympathy. How could I? How could I feel sorry for someone who had always taken the easy way out, who had always been so careless with her life, only to now face the reality of it all? I understood the difficulty of her situation. No one wanted to be stuck in a place like that. But she had done this to herself. She had made these choices, and now she was paying for them. I didn't want to see my sister suffer, but there was no other way to look at it. Her choices had led her here, and there was no quick fix for the mess she had created. It was hard not to feel angry at her, angry for the way she had handled everything, for the way she had ignored all the signs along the way. It wasn't just the affairs or the lies, it was the way she had treated the people around her, the way she had treated the consequences of her actions as if they didn't matter. But they did. They mattered more than anything, and now she was the one left picking up the pieces. What was even more difficult was that I couldn't offer any real advice to her. She had burned so many bridges, alienated so many people, and now she was living in a world where she had no one left to turn to. The money she had spent, the lies she had told, the people she had hurt, it had all built up to this moment. And there she was, working in a dirty bar, hoping that somehow, through sheer effort, she could pay off everything and get her life back on track. But I didn't see how she could. Life doesn't hand out second chances just because you're sorry. You can't undo what's been done. You can only try to do better moving forward. And that, it seemed, was the hardest lesson of all for my sister to learn. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.